Now we also have to discuss all these branches coming off common hepatic artery. And our first one is going to be gastroduodenal. Now gastroduodenal will be the first branch coming off there. And it's actually going to split into two other arteries that we have to learn. Our first one is called right gastroepiploic or gastroomental artery. And this is actually going to go to the greater curvature of the stomach, just like we saw with left gastroepiploic that came from the splenic artery. And they're actually going to fuse together through a process called anastomosis. The other branch of gastroduodenal that will continue downward is the pancreaticoduodenal. Now, the second branch will be the right gastric artery. This will actually go and meet up with the left gastric artery that originally came from the celiac trunk, and they will anastomose in the lesser curvature of the stomach. Now, as the common hepatic artery has these branches and continues to the liver itself, we start calling it proper hepatic artery. As it continues into the liver, proper hepatic artery will also branch, and it'll branch into a left hepatic artery, which goes to the left lobe of the liver, and then right hepatic artery that will go to the right lobe of the liver. Right hepatic artery will also have its own branch called cystic artery, and this will go to the gallbladder. Now here's a really simplified diagram of everything we just discussed here. Let's start with celiac trunk, that way we have our bearings down. We have splenic artery and left gastric. And then now here's our common hepatic artery. So those are our three branches coming off celiac trunk. So our first branch coming off common hepatic artery is the gastroduodenal. And then it's also going to have its two branches, the right gastroepiploic artery. And this continuation downward will be the pancreaticoduodenal. So let's just fill that in here real quick. Put an arrow, and we'll label it PD for pancreaticoduodenal. Now after this gastroduodenal is branched off, we have our proper hepatic artery that continues into the liver. So we have that right gastric artery that will actually come up in the lesser curvature of the stomach, and it'll anastomose with the left gastric artery from celiac trunk. As we continue tracing proper hepatic artery into the liver, we'll have left hepatic artery going to the left lobe of the liver. We'll have right hepatic artery going to the right lobe of the liver. And then we'll also have cystic artery coming off right hepatic artery that will continue to the gallbladder. Now here's a more realistic view of what you're going to see with this. So here's our celiac trunk. And again, the three branches, left gastric, going into the lesser curvature of the stomach. There's the curly splenic artery diving behind the stomach, going out to the spleen. We see left gastroepiploic coming off splenic artery here, the greater curvature of the stomach. And then we have our common hepatic artery starting this way. So let's trace common hepatic artery. Now we have gastroduodenal coming down here. We see its first branch, which is the right gastroepiploic, meeting up with left. And then we have pancreaticoduodenal that continues downward here. And again, let's just label that real quick here. That way we've got all of them. We'll use that same labeling, PD for pancreaticoduodenal. Okay, that is that continuation down this way to the pancreas. Then we have proper hepatic after that happens. There's our right gastric artery that comes in here to the lesser curvature of the stomach and anastomose with the left gastric artery. We continue tracing this. There's our left hepatic artery going to the left lobe of the liver. There's right hepatic artery going to the right lobe of the liver. And then we have cystic artery going down here to the gallbladder. Now we're going to continue back to the abdominal aorta as we start working distally. Just underneath the celiac trunk, we have a big artery called the superior mesenteric artery. It has a few branches that we'll see here in just a moment. We also have suprarenal arteries that will go to the suprarenal glands, or also called the adrenal glands, which sit above the kidneys. We will also have arteries that go to the kidneys themselves called renal arteries. And then we'll have gonadal arteries, which in females are called ovarian, males are called testicular, and gonadal is just gender neutral.